Okay. So asking to connect with Scott's higher self. Already had a conversation with Scott, who was very open to everything, which is awesome. Okay. I'm getting female energy from the higher self, and she's saying that she has trepidations. Okay. Yes, I hear you. And she's using the word commercialize, the fear of being commercialized. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Oh, getting some sensation right here. Okay, so can we talk about that? Is that okay? All right, well, I get that. She's saying, like, the fear of being commercialized, nothing personal. I mean, oh, sorry, my necklace, all kinds of chaos going on there. Look, I understand. I mean, it's your job to protect, well, protect? I'm sure that's part of it. Anyway, I hear you. And how about we check in again? And I might need help remembering this, but to check back in with you before anything is shared online at all so that you know and feel confident that it's only what you think is okay. Is that okay? Okay. Um, I have to write this down somewhere, so let me add it to my document. Yeah. And I promise to do my best to, sorry, I can be a bit memory impaired, but I promise to do my best to remember it, and I am going to put it in here. So, and if you tell me, I'll also remember it better. So, okay. So, and I'll put it in all caps. Check with higher self before posting or sharing anything. Lots of exclamations. And I'll even make it a color. Make it orange. Okay. Okay. Hey, I want you to feel comfortable so that yeah, she's saying openly sharing. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Is there anything else you need from me before this conversation? Promise to take care of Scott emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and as a person. She's also mentioning about his appetite. So I do plan on getting 2 large pizzas, just so you know. Do you think that's a good idea? Is that going to be enough? Okay. So I was told that he and his brother like pepperoni. I was thinking of getting a veggie for the other one for me and the dad. Is that okay? Okay. And I'm seeing maybe the brother will have a slice of the veggie. Okay. I'm thinking about being naughty and not getting vegan cheese. I can't imagine you have an opinion about that, but probably best. So, okay. So does that feel right to you? Thank you. Okay. Okay. Really? Okay. So she's showing me soda. I guess Coke. Diet Coke? Coke Zero? Regular Coke? Okay. So let me write that down because that stuff's really, anyway, I'm not trying to judge. Pizzas, Coke. I'll check in about the Coke. Okay. I'll check in with his dad. Because, anyway, not that I don't want to listen to you, because of course I do. Okay. No, she's showing me like Diet Pepsi, uh, Fanta. So it seems like you want to make sure that I have some kind of soft drink. Okay, how about I'll just ask. Now she's showing me orange soda. So I'll ask what kind of soda they want. Okay, is that okay? Okay. I wrote it down. I'll do my best. I'm promising to do my best. I can't promise to do it perfectly. Sorry. I wish I could. Believe me. I wish I could. Okay. Okay. So all other considerations, feel free to shower them upon me now. I am. She's asking if I'm intuiting this conversation. I am. Yeah. I try to always do that. So, okay. Ouch, 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 ouch. Ooh. Okay. It's not a pain in the neck. Nothing is a pain in the neck. My neck is fine. I'm happy to go with stuff. I don't need to resist anything. Sorry, just talking to my body. I think she's, ow, ow. Anyway. Okay. Okay. And she's giving me the name Sybil. Okay. But she wants it spelled Sybille. So it kind of looks like Sibyl. Sibyl. Okay. Or Sabile. Anyway. Okay. So she's showing herself with I don't know if it's a glass or a cup, but anyway, a big cup of whatever sort with lemonade with square ice cubes. It looks like lemonade. I actually don't know what it is, but it looks like lemonade. Okay. Yeah, and the distraction is even happening now, which is a bit unusual. So I release all anxiety, and all anxiety releases me. I release the energy of anxiety and nervousness. The energies of anxiety and nervousness release me. Release the energy of nervousness. The energy of nervousness now releases me. Thanks. And I needed a visual. So I was seeing like sort of like a jail cell kind of bars. And then I was like, no. So anyway, it looks like we are settled into this second, third story library area with the desk. And she's across from me. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So she's starting to talk about Scott, and she's saying that he is a particularly sensitive young man. Okay. Can you define what you mean by sensitive and then particularly sensitive if you want to? Yes, sure, certainly, she's saying. Particularly, particularly because he's so heightened in his awareness of negative energies, entities coming around his house, in his room, with him. She's making sort of Shrek joke, like all up in his grill. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, particularly also because he knows and cares. Am I getting that right? He knows and cares about what's said. He takes it less personally at times when he's in a good mood. But when he feels shitty or otherwise, there's a tone of like, God damn it, stop saying that to me, or bringing that around me to these energies. Oh, yeah. Sorry, attention is really being called all around. But I'm also getting a lot of stuff done, so I'm not complaining. I'm appreciating the support. I am. Okay. Okay, and now I'm hearing the song that I was hearing earlier, and it's called Fool, and it's like fool if you think it's over. Now, and I found this song kind of confusing, Sybil, because now was the song really from you? The essential essence of Scott's relationships to the dark entities slash energies. Okay. So I'm going to pull up the lyrics so you can maybe specify which part and tell me what that means, because, you know, there's a lot of meaning you could look into, and let's make it clear. That would be helpful. Okay. So is it this first part, that part? Yeah. Is it that part? Okay. So she's saying the part is the chorus or part of the chorus. No, I don't know what it is. It's a repeated paragraph. Newborn eyes always cry with pain at the first look of at the morning sun. Fool if you think it's over, it's just begun. Okay, and that part stood out to me earlier as well. But you know, I have no idea what that means. So can you tell me, please? And we can go line by line if you want to. Would that be helpful? So we'll start with the newborn eyes always cry with pain. So she's saying emerging experiences can be intensely painful. Is this Scott's first go round? It's his first go round like this. Okay. So, and you're making a reincarnation reference. Okay. He wanted to serve people in the future by understanding mental illness better. So he chose and came here with the intensity and wrath of an angry God screaming in his head. So he could understand those later that are on the cusp of, and he's showing like a cliff on the cusp of, do you mean like suicide? Is that what you're implying? I just, the cliff is a metaphorical cliff? Okay. Metaphorical. Okay. Oh, and so, sorry, this is, so can you please show me a yes? And can you please show me a no? Thanks. So that's me when I'm checking to make sure I'm on the right track. So, and it helps stay out of my head. So, okay. So back to, yeah. So it sounds like what you're saying is that Scott chose this experience because in the future he wants to be able to help other people who she's saying live this way. Okay. Has Scott incarnated this way before? Did he do it, but not this level of intensity? No. Okay. So this is his first time incarnating with what would be considered severe mental illness in the way it presents. Yeah. And just as I'm saying that, I'm reminded of, you know, this spectrum of, you know, it's not one or the other. At least that's the understanding that I'm sitting in. So please correct me if I'm wrong, or if I'm missing a point here, because this is a really important point. I mean, certainly for Scott, and then for me, and then for anybody who will be hearing this. And, you know, just to be clear, Sybil, you do understand that I'm doing this, not that I wouldn't want to help Scott anyway. I didn't know that I could. All of this is like newly emerging. However, part of it is I'm doing it for this podcast because I'm doing a podcast about mediumship and how it can be helpful, looking to inspire people to use it. And it seems like this is a very important subject and point, because people who experience what could be perceived as either psychotic, psych, like tactile hallucinations, so psychotic symptoms, let's say, or could be labeled as psychotic symptoms, could also be labeled as spiritual experiences, right? She's saying very much so. Okay. Yeah. And she's saying Scott, unfortunately, definitely was labeled with psychotic symptoms. And she's saying, and they're both. They're spiritual experiences and psychotic symptoms. And I feel like she wants to make a joke like, we all have them. As if like, why are we even questioning this? Am I getting that right from you? Okay, because the tone you gave, Sybil, was just really casual. Like, yeah, we all have them. Okay. She's agreeing. Okay. And is that what you see? Is that your knowledge about this? Okay. Thank you. And she's showing a friend of mine who will talk about like, God talking to them. And yeah, I guess this is somebody who wouldn't, well, they would classify it as a spiritual experience, but it could also be, yeah, she's saying like depression with psychotic features. Yeah, fair enough, given the situation. Yeah, she's saying labels are unhelpful. Sometimes, you know, unfortunately, certain labels are dangerous because they can make hopeful people um, become very hopeless. Yeah, I hear you. Okay. Yeah, back to Scott. Okay. So, what else would you like to tell me about? I mean, maybe it would be smart to stay organized. Here's a thought. So, maybe we could start with his intentions in having this experience in this kind of way. So, did he understand that he would likely or may have known that he would be labeled in this way that was likely going to feel pretty negative? Well, let's forget about the label. Let's talk about the experiences that he's having. I don't know where to start. You tell me where to start. Sorry, Sybil. I'm a little all over the map here. She's making a joke and all around the world, too. Fair enough. Okay, well, then you lead and guide me, sister, because I'm open to that. Excuse me. Okay, I think she's in teaching mode. I feel like there's like a whiteboard with like one of those pointers. She's kind of, first of all, and once and for all, these are not damaged people. These are choices that people made from a prior life, have new beginnings, and to become a more sensitive person, energetically, emotionally, empathically towards others. Maybe in the next life. And I think the impression I'm getting, am I getting this right? Is not so from a previous life, the plan was to experience these symptoms or experiences here to take or benefit in the following life, right? Yeah, where helping people will be abound with the sensitive packages of emotional and energetic knowledge and wisdom that ones have gained uh, through these severe experiences. Okay. So I feel like I should ask this question next. So, those of us, or some of us, who in this incarnation, just saying, or whatever incarnation, but I'm just thinking of like myself and my like minded peers, that we have trained ourselves, let's say, in media. I mean, we had experiences. We knew we were open and sensitive to certain things, but we've pursued it like an area of study. Are we, and a lot of us are helping people or teaching people, including myself. So it sounds like what you're saying is there's a good chance, a likelihood that in my previous life or somewhere back not that far, that I would have had all of these experiences, severe experiences also. But she's using the word untamed. Okay. Okay. Untamed. Yeah, we might come back to that word. Okay. That's helpful. Thank you. Okay. Um, let's see. So, is there anything else you want to say about Scott's intention about having that experience here? Okay. So she's bringing up the word transformation. Am I getting that right? Okay. Okay. And just as she's showing that, I'm transported back to a moment when I was driving from my aunt's in Florida. I don't know how many years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago, from my aunt's house to go see my uncle and his partner. And I'm in the car and I'm at a light turning into like a Walgreens or something to get some kind of hair stuff because I noticed my hair, like I guess the product I had used like wore off. I think this is why I was going. This is what it feels like. And I was feeling self-conscious about how my hair looked. So, and why are we bringing this memory up? She's saying so you can see that conscious or self-consciousness varies at times. At other times, it's like, who cares? But in that moment, and she's right, I felt acutely aware of caring about that in more ways than I normally or typically do. Okay. And she's saying it was just an everyday item, could have been an everyday occurrence. But I cared in this self-conscious way. She's right. And I don't even know why. I mean, maybe it had been long enough since I had seen my uncles that not that anybody would have judged my hair. I don't know why I cared. But I did. I did. Okay. So you were talking about transformation. My sense was, well, no, let me not make any assumptions at all, of course. Sorry. Transformation related to Scott. Can he, by the end of this life, find some peace? Can he, by the end of his life, have figured out that he was not wrong? Can he, somewhere between the beginning and the end of his life, which may be at 89, she's not guessing the age, she's just saying living to be old. Somewhere, she's showing like around 45 maybe. Can he make this transformation? And just as I'm doing that, I get the sense of like a key. I mean, she's showing like a physical, but like it's meant to be metaphorical because I don't know that real keys are shaped this way, but how old-timey type keys looked. Just making sure I'm getting this right. Okay. Okay. So this is what she's saying. Am I getting this right? The key is no resistance. Okay. I'm just going to go with what she's saying. It's you'll connect or not. She's saying there are friendly forces and unfriendly can be ugly forces all around everywhere, everyone, all the time. Just like there's sunshine all the time somewhere, there's also darkness elsewhere. And it's that same pinnacle point of what do we adhere to? Do we stay focused on the sunshine comes back? She's using like a cloudy day as an example. Oh, interesting. I never thought of it that way. Well, anyway, so the idea that there are cloudy days where you really don't see the sun, but like at nighttime, I mean, yeah, I can see how the moon comes and goes, but it's different. It's like the darkness is the darkness. Um, yeah, interesting. So she's saying like various shades of winter. Like it can be cold, it can be brutally cold with no snow, but it feels more severe in that moment. And then you have a day where it's like 45 or 50 and it's like, hey, it warmed up, even though it's still too cold to be comfortable in and with. Okay. Okay. And so she's bringing up magnetic energy, how you magnetize to yourselves, what brings you joy, strength, or comfort, or additional weakness, or reinforces self beliefs. I feel like she wants to focus on the reinforces self beliefs. Does this tie into the key part? No. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So if you see, so she's showing the example, and I don't know if you're going to connect with this, Scott, but if you feel like trodden upon and beneath others, that negative concept has an energy to it. And she's bringing up the concept of resilience. Resilience can be meaning no matter what I am feeling right now, I am determined to make it to tomorrow. Even when the voice is shouting at me, and she's showing the words of voices shouting at somebody like, you're killing yourself, kill yourself, this sucks, it isn't worth it. And then she's showing resilience is, and she shows like a rope coming down. And like, it's reminding me a little bit of that silly meme of a kitten, you know, like hang in there or something like that. But it's like she's showing, I'm getting big chills on this, the idea of, and she is showing it as you, and you're like hanging on to this rope and it's kind of swinging, big chills on my legs. So confirmation chills, are these confirmation chills? Thank you. Okay. Interesting. And I feel like there's this extra meaning of this rope. So it's like you're hanging in there, like hanging on to something. And it feels a bit ironic because there's like, well, you're not tethered to the ground, but you're tethered to something. And something, part of that is hopefulness, you know, family, friends, situations that you would look forward to, uh, being happy in the future, luck, or the perception of luck, things that could be exciting, in some one day future. And then she's showing you in particular, Scott, and I see you interacting with your dad, and your dad is kind of making jokes to keep things light. I don't have the experience. it feels like in this visual, the tone of it may seem a little bit like he's not quite listening to you or not picking up on how you're actually feeling, because you may not be feeling great. You may be feeling really down in the dumps. Now she's saying like even digging the dumps. But he comes in to your room, it looks like, and he's this like, she's using the term beacon of love, like a flashlight or a lighthouse. And that's specifically why you chose him to be your father on earth in this lifetime, is no matter how hope fails you. Sorry, I can really feel the emotion of this. Your dad's love lifts you every time. And it's interesting because the experience I'm having is like as if I'm connected to you in this scenario and experiencing your dad. I just see him standing there and the door is kind of open. And I don't know what he's saying. He's not like, saying, "Oh, sorry, I can see how you're," like he's not. But his eyes like get me. Like I feel his eyes get me. His eyes tell me that he loves me and he understands even though I'm not hearing like the acknowledgement of how I'm doing. And she's saying like it's never that negating anymore. Big chills on this. Whew. Like it used to be. So, and I'm left with the impression like maybe being a younger person, it would have felt very much like he was negating what you're going through. But she's saying he's being buoyant and he helps you stay more buoyant. Hmm. Like floating above the river of negative shit all the time. And she gives a visual of there are times when you feel like in this river of shit, you're kind of going like down under, you get it in your mouth. Um, and then interesting. And then it's like you hear the knock on the door and it's like you're kind of transported out of whatever this is and then connecting with your dad in that moment. And I want to say it feels a bit jarring because the two worlds are just so vastly different. Um, but the one needs the other, she says, because you signed up to experience the shittiness level of like 0.001 with regard to what's considered mental illness. And then you've got your beacon, your lighthouse. And he is always super consistent, she says, about your dad. You've needed that, and you knew you would need that. So that's the contract between you. And I just can hear your dad saying, "Yes, I will love you, um, and be happy to love you every day. I promise. If you'll be my son, I'll do it every day." And I'm just left with the experience of like him saying that leaves no question. Like, okay, then I can do it. I'm feeling very aware of this huge level of trust that you already feel with him. Yeah. And she's adding from many lifetimes together before. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. I'm asking, is there anything else about that sort of like chapter of history she wants to share? And she's given me a no. Okay. I just want to thank you, Sybil, because it's a lot of information. You're giving it very clearly. Are you able to communicate with Scott? He's not open to your vibrancy. Am I getting that right? No, sorry. So it seems like you're saying he has trouble connecting with your light or your level of vibration. Okay. Not always. It seems she's showing like there's like a glimmer of light. Like on his better days, he feels a little gifted. And that's more me than him. Okay. Do you wish it was different? I never wish for anything. Okay. Probably not a great question for a higher self. In the spiritual world, everything is divine. Scott is divine. Everything is divine. Everything was meant to happen for life lessons. He negotiates for something. We want it to happen, to unfold more that way or less that way for him, not to him, but for him, per his wishes. Yeah. She's making a bit of a joke in a much more subtle way that she understands that when people who are here and suffering with things hear that, we want to kick that version of ourselves that signed up for this, or even wrote the contract, she's saying. Yeah. Yeah, but that is what it is. And I wouldn't wish for it to be different, because then I would wish for Scott to not be how Scott is. And he's perfect right now to me and everyone else here. So, no, no, no wishing he is different. Okay, that is very clear. Thank you. Any other questions about Scott's self-worth? Do you think that him increasing his level of self-worth would so here's like a real question. So what Scott's experiencing is like the scary negative side, right, of, let's say, mediumship, or I don't know what to call it, because I don't want to call it psychosis. I don't want to call it psychotic features, and I don't really want to call it mediumship. She's bringing up something about a superhighway. Do you like that one? Spiritual highway? Spiritual superhighway? Spiritual highway? Okay. Okay. And as she's saying that, I just want to double check that you mean it this way. Like, yeah, okay. So you may be a bit young for this, Scott, but when the idea of the internet was sort of floating around out of the mouth of, oh my gosh, was it? Oh, what was his name? Bill Clinton's vice president. I can picture him. Al Gore. Thank you. I can't believe that came to me, but I could picture him. So he used to talk about the internet as the information superhighway. It was just a concept. But of course, then that's what it became. So it feels like that's how she's using it. Okay. And I'm going to hang on to this term, spiritual information, spiritual connection highway, spiritual highway. We're just sticking with spiritual highway. Okay. You got it. Okay. So, and she's showing there's like these on ramps to this highway. And there are also, I'm seeing signs along the highway, big signs, really big, actually. Determined to see God is one of the signs, and then shows arrows pointing in that direction. Okay, and I'm just seeing the words like, Satan, the devil, demons. Okay. Open to seeing those guys. Exit here. And there's like, it feels like this internal challenge. Like if you can, you know, come face to face with the worst of the worst, then you've got the mettle, like Mettle, to move on and experience God's grace after having felt punished by God's hands. And she's saying, and Scott is right there. The hands, the punishment. God's hands, punishment. And they feel so similar, she's saying. What he doesn't yet have the belief in is himself, to be a guardian of his thoughts, better than he's learned so far in his life. And he will get a better grip on fantasy versus reality. And I'm getting a sense something has to do with like the feeling of temperature control. Like, am I getting this right? Okay. So what I'm seeing is this something that's being perceived, like a visual, let's say. And if it's like unclear whether it's like actually really happening in front of you or it's just in your mind that it's happening, it seems like there's something like one is colder than the other or something like that. But there's something like maybe physical that feels different. And that may be the only way you can tell. But as I'm sitting with that, I'm also feeling aware, well, that is also being in touch with yourself. And to be in touch with yourself, you can't be overcome. And this is where she's bringing up the word metal. And metal, how would you describe it? It's like strength, like what you're made of kind of thing. Like chutzpah, some people might say, that kind of thing. And I guess I got that right. I heard a weird noise. And what's coming from that is, am I getting that right? Okay. Sorry, I keep asking that out loud. I hope that's not getting annoying. But I'm trying to remember to say everything so that you can hear it. And so that's just part of the things that I say. So let me not lose track. So the metal part. So what she's showing is that at some point, I guess in your own evolution of dealing with these experiences, and now she's talking about sound as I hear something else in my house, that it looks like at some point you become like unshaken by these negative entities or energies that are presenting like in front of your metaphorical eyes. Interesting. And she's showing like maybe before it would have really affected you emotionally, but then I'm seeing you, I'm seeing this visual, and whatever it is that's happening in your, let's say, perception or field of perception, you're not responding to it. Like you're aware of it. It's reminding me of a video I just heard this morning on Instagram where I get all my info about somebody, how she was talking about thoughts and how we deal with thoughts. And that there's this thing about maturity that when you're able to like witness the thoughts, but not have feelings about the thoughts or not let the thoughts dictate your feelings, that's a level of like maturity. And this feels very similar to that. There's like this awareness and yeah, almost like this self-trust that comes up. Like, let's see how this is going to play out. It feels in some ways in this moment, it feels a little bit like somebody who can like lucid dream and they're like, I don't know where this is going, but okay, I'll sit here as if I'm in a theater watching it, eating popcorn. Uh, but like I'm refusing to get caught up in it. And it feels like a place of power, even though in some ways I can see how it might be experienced as a place of being passive. Interesting. Power versus passive. Okay. All right. And she's saying it's like me. Uh, like now I'm learning to ask why. Why am I hearing this song? Why am I seeing this? Why do I believe I'm having this experience? She's saying same difference for you, Scott. Why am I picturing this right now? What is happening? Huh. And just as that came to me, I'm getting the sense of you picturing or experiencing something really negative happening, and there's actually something happening out in the world. Like I got a vision, like a scent, like a clip for a moment of like the Ukraine or places where some bad stuff is really happening, and that the two feel a bit tied in together. Um, yeah. So what it feels like is that you're getting this subtle awareness of these nasty, evil things and deeds that men are doing. And this is your experience of the resulting energies, is you can pick up on those energies. Wow. And so that the actions that are very far away, or she's saying, am I getting that right? Even long ago? Just far away? Yeah, that are happening right now. Yeah, it's like a reverberation and it stirs up the negative energies elsewhere. Yeah, it's like the idea of negative karmic energies, but it has far reaching effects that someone's perspective would preclude them from thinking about. Also, they don't care. Like if they're willing to do this, terrible deed to the person to someone who's in front of them, why would they care about anyone else that they don't suspect they would care about? Okay. Feeling aware of these crystals for some reason. I was looking for one before and I couldn't. I didn't look very hard, but anyway, it was an angelite, I believe. Okay, so I'm just going to ask for the energy of angelite to surround me right now, please. And I'm visualizing that. That sort of light blue, milky, protective energy. Okay. So are you bringing up angelite because there's some support that like an angelite crystal? Okay, was that just for me? Okay, that was just for me. All right. Interesting. So I hear you about why there are times when Scott and others, I assume, might be feeling this. Is there sensitivity to things that are happening around the world? And I would assume in an unconscious way. Okay. So, are there things that can be done or measures put in place to keep that from happening, especially for somebody who is so sensitive and pretty vulnerable and vulnerable to these things? Like, where do you start if that's you? Where do you start? Where do you begin to, yeah, to shift the tide? So she's commenting about internal awareness. And the awareness is this isn't just me. This isn't just now happening to only me. Oh, okay. And she's reminding me of like when people talk about like something being in retrograde and we, or something like that, but we all kind of feel it like it's part of the collective consciousness. She's saying, yeah, it's exactly the same, like the same way. Yeah. Feeling empty or affected in the same way as others around the world. So it's not just me. Okay. Calling this protective measures and thinking. That's what feels right to it. Okay. Yeah. It's not just me, it's happening all around the world, all over the world. Okay. Got it. And she's saying, please check. And she's bringing up like reality checks of like, I don't know what sources this would be. Was she showing me like maybe it's, sorry, is this the, yeah, okay. So I follow people who do astrology, even though I really don't study astrology, but I do follow some people on Instagram who do because it gives me reality checks of like, man, when I'm feeling like really off, I'm so grateful to be able to listen to people who really study this because then they give me that reality check and I'm like, oh, okay. It's not just me. Love that. Thank you. Okay. Hmm. I don't get the sense she's suggesting you follow astrology, but she can give examples from my life so I can describe it so you can figure out what feels right to you. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Number two. I know. She's like, it's cheesy, but I'm loving it. Like loving this. Am I getting that right? Yeah. Oh, sister, you have no idea. This is very exciting information to get. Yeah, to place hands on. Yeah, like a better future for people, better futures. I get that. All right. She's saying that I should ask you, Scott, if you're willing to share this video as is. I could edit out some personal stuff if you want, of course. But she feels like this is part of the package. And she's showing, thank you. Okay. And she's showing a like a playlist on my YouTube channel for these types of readings to help others learn from it. Yeah. She's saying she's sure you'll feel okay with it, but that I should check and get a verbal agreement from you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Oh, she's so cute. She's like getting all like, I like this, like getting comfortable. Okay. Okay, sister. Come on, Sybil. We ready for number two? Okay. She just wants to give you some encouragement, Scott. That's all happening right now for this reason, for you to gain certainty that there is more control you can have over your thoughts, feelings, and energetic fields. And she believes in you. And she stands by you in general, in honor and respect of you and your wishes. And she believes that how you want me to say it? Hold on. Sorry. Thank you. She's saying that she believes, and she's saying this like about you to me. He needs someone to help him, but he needs to do it for himself. Yeah. Just like everyone, yeah. Like every drowning fish has to save themselves from drowning. And she's sticking with this as a metaphor. Oh, drowning fish. I was thinking like a fish that's not in water, but she was saying drowning fish. That's so interesting. And so, and she's showing like this drowning fish, the fish that really thinks it's drowning. And then when it has a moment of like to stop, not like giving up. It's not, I don't see giving up. I see the resisting to the drowning like subsides. It's like it's like a choice to move that away. And then there's this moment where the fish is with itself, like, what's happening here? Hold on. Wait a minute. My context, my perspective, they it sucks. Let me try something new and different now. And it's I can have impact over how I'm feeling and doing and what I'm seeing, hearing and thinking. I don't know like I don't know to what point or degree I can help myself, but I can start something right here where I'm like, I'm lucky. I have access to both worlds. And I didn't know. I hadn't realized it was a gift. And she's saying, and that's number two. It's a gift with passion and love that I gave myself to have here and now. What can I do with it? Oh, wow. Interesting. And then she shows, I don't know that this is about you, Scott. Is this about Scott in particular? No, it's not personal to you, Scott. But she shows somebody who, whatever it is that they were seeing or experiencing, it looks like they then like illustrate a book with all of this stuff. And it's like, yeah, like a fantastical, mythological folklore trilogy. There are many unsarcastic, creative ways that you could use this, what seems like a fantasy world. And she's saying something about it being on the ledge. Am I getting that right? The ledge of like fantasy and different worlds versus what feels like space and time on Earth. I think I'm getting that. All right, I guess I'm getting that right. Okay. It's best to say it in a less complicated way. Okay. Okay. I'm afraid this is going to be complicated, but we'll see where she's going with this. So she's showing like the idea of like spheres, but like a globe or something. And there's a few of them. And she's commenting about overlapping worlds, like 3D, 4D, 4D, outer dimensional. It's outside of normal reality. And that's what counts here because it seems unacceptable when something is without the world's approval, evidence, something like that. But it still exists. It's right there, living rent free in your head. And that's what counts. And she's showing you, so she's not showing me the visuals that you're seeing, but apparently the energy of it, excuse me, or the tone, it's easy to, it's just, you're just so caught up in it. It's so easy to be caught up in it. And she's using the word unrelenting, relentless and unrelenting. She's even using this tone in her voice like it never stops. And just as she says that, the visual sense I get is you feeling that way, and then you go to sleep. And it's almost like in saying that, it's like, I'm going to stop fighting it. Not like I'm going to let it take me over, but I'm going to stop fighting it. And then it seems like the next day you wake up feeling better. Like, oh, phew. Like I'm in a very different kind of space. The least resistance, the better. Not like succumb to the negative energies and forces. And she shows like they have the reins over you, like you're the horse. But almost like a, huh? Well, that's the fantasy that's living out in my head rent free now. Am I getting that right? Something about the word fantasy feels a little bit counter what we've been talking about. But that's how it lives out, she's saying. So, okay. Okay. And she's saying, like, how can I benefit society? Which was the whole point why you signed up for this. So, okay. Gotcha. Oh. And she's showing, like, maybe some authors who write some scary stuff that maybe that's what they're tapping into, which is where they get this from, which is where they get the subjects of their books from. And she's showing this sort of like interesting, like as if their imagination has this like really windy path that it takes. And then it leads off into, I mean, like, never ever land kind of thing or never world. Now I feel like that's a Peter Pan thing. Okay. It's all fantasy reality, she's saying. It seems different, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. Yeah, and she's reminding me, this is so weird. We just had some plumbing done, and I was feeling irritated with a friend who I thought he got us to buy some extra parts to things that really were unnecessary. Like, what the hell? And feeling like I guess this is the part that's important. Just when I was feeling like, oh, I can trust this person, I feel like he kind of duped me again. And not that he's trying to or that he benefits from these things, but his sense of judgment is very different from mine about how to spend money on things, let's say. And so that's what she just, I was kind of caught up in it. Oh, that's such a strange way to look at it, but I'm appreciating it. I'm appreciating it because she's giving me these examples that I can relate to. So in the moment that my friend suggests these extra plumbing devices, I'm totally caught up in it. Like, oh, well, okay, well, he knows about these things. So I'm traveling to two different stores to get enough for the house and that kind of thing. And it wasn't until later when my discernment was like, wait a minute. like I realized I asked nothing about like, do we really need this? Why do we need this? What is the purpose it serves? Do we really need that in our house? It sounds like it's something for an apartment building. Like I didn't do any of that until after the fact. And she's saying about me, like I'm never questioning until later. And now I'm like agitated. That's so true. She's got me nailed. Um, okay. And is Scott's different. Scott's different than that. Okay. He feels like he's caught in this fantasy of horror. Yeah. And it isn't until later, I guess, then you have this like maybe a bit of a transition where you feel less attached to the stuff that's playing out. Like you can actually, okay, like you can kind of separate yourself. And it's reminded me, my husband has tinnitus or tinnitus, however you say it, and how he can listen to the, all the noise, or he can really tune it out. But he had to train himself to tune it out. And she's saying, what are you choosing to focus on or put your focus on? So it seems like there is some areas or ways of that kind of discernment or even like detachment from it. And then expectations to return to reality and be like, ho hum, I guess I'm going to play solitaire on my computer now. Or some like extraneous activity, nothing very meaningful. But now it's like I can get back to everyday reality and life. Okay. Anything else about that? Anything else about that particular point? I mean, because I feel like there's maybe a few more to move on to. Is that right? Okay. Sorry, Sybil, I'm feeling aware that I do need to eat at some point, but I've still got time. So, okay. I feel like there's maybe four of these, and we're on number 3 right now. Okay. And I feel like she's offering that she can share more like at any time. So, but I really want to get this for Scott. I just think this is way cool. So, yeah, I will. And she's asking me to do the transcription and send it to you. So, I can do that. Am I getting that right? Okay. Sure. Uh, thanks. Okay. Okay, the song is coming back. All dressed in black. You won't be coming back. So let me find that. All dressed in black, he won't be coming back. Well, save your tears. You've got years and years. Okay, so she's commenting that this is a permanent situation to be this sensitive and quite this sensitive. But she's using the word harness and that it helps you harness your creative abilities. Cat is here looking for food. Hello, Cuppy. Okay. Okay. And now she's showing you, it looks like you're drawing. I want to say it looks like pen and ink. Okay. So the third, harness uh, your creative abilities. Okay. And even as she's saying that, I'm feeling very aware that, like, let's say in how you experienced it in your head, you might have felt some terror, but how you're drawing them, it doesn't have that same tone or energy. And that feels like a very, like, to deliberately choose or deliberate choice. Sorry, she's showing deliberately choice. So I'll go with her grammar. She wanted me to do that. Okay. Deliberately and by choice. Subtle tone. Not terror inducing. Okay. And just as I'm sitting in the energy of you doing that and maybe drawing like faces on things that, adding this sense of like a goofiness to it, it feels like there's something in you that feels a sense, yeah, she's like a sense of more agency. And that the next time you see whatever this thing is that you did that sort of goofy face on, uh, and not to make fun of yourself, but the facade of that negative entity, you could be like, oh, hey, oh, how's it going? And there's a very different kind of response you might feel when you've like dissected and then like reprogrammed your mind to see the terror differently. And like, oh, and then I'm seeing this, whatever it is, like removing this mask. And like ooh, big chills on this. Like you've decided what's underneath the mask is not scary. That feels big. How can you be afraid if you see this being like this? You can only laugh, even just with yourself. But that's okay. That's what's important. To being like, I'm over being scared of you. I know you're just a dribbling fool whose mistaken identity excludes love in your heart. And I know you are of light, as am I. And I am that. And you are this. And we are one. And togetherness, in togetherness. And we are connected. So, no, do I scare you? Would be like you talking to this figure in this kind of way. She's using the word sardonically, like about you. Like he means it and he doesn't, but he's trying to mean it too. Like, hey, hold on. And now she's showing a visual of you and you're on top of this horse-drawn buggy thing, but you're holding the reins. And it's a very different perspective, she's saying. She's talking about you, on what he's capable of doing and reprogramming your brain. Okay. In case I didn't say this earlier, and this is just me, Noelle, saying this, all of this information is what's coming through energetically, and none of it is like medical or psychological or mental health or therapeutic advice from me as a human being at all. This is totally out of my scope. I would never advise somebody to do, I mean, I teach people mediumship and I coach people in mediumship, but that is the extent of, all of this. So this isn't like medical advice in any kind of way from me. I just feel like I should say that now because I didn't say it before, but yeah, just to be super clear. I know you're just going to have to wait a few minutes. Poor thing. She's starving. She's not. She had a very big breakfast. Okay. 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 And now we're on to the fourth. Okay. She's calling it your choice. Okay. So she's saying engaging or engagement in your activity in this area is by choice. Originally by choice, currently right now by choice. You have the right to make no changes at all because it's okay. It's like comfortably numb in some ways to be in this spot right now. And you may be contemplating, what do I want? Where would I be without this part of my life feeling this tragically? Feeling this tragically? Feeling this tragic? Mm. And she's bringing up about like questioning your horizons. Like, what else would I be doing? Like anywhere I put my focus. What else am I able to create in this life? Through luck or fortune or whatever you might misplace your ability to gather up your own energy and make a change. She's calling it willfulness. How willing am I to exert the discipline to make my changes in my ways and to make a better life for myself? And I think it includes your brother. I don't know if you're long, anyway, it includes your brother that I'm aware of. Yeah. Okay. She's saying you can see your influence or the impact you have on your brother. And she's just saying, of course, it's just common sense to, since, when human beings live together, they like rub off on each other. Like one person, is feeling in a great mood, and uh, it can also be easy for that person to like try to shit upon their mood when they're feeling, especially the shittiness from, themselves or their own energy source. But there's also this world of positive impact. And commenting that you and your brother switch off, um, who's like the bigger, greater influence on each other. And she's saying to see that as an opportunity because you also have his backing. If you're like, okay, dude, like we're making this shift. Let's do it together. He can hold you back, you know, he can hurt you just like you can for him. But with his emphasis on uh, good choices or your good qualities, something like that. Like he sees you at your best, um, and that you're doing your best. So yeah, he can certainly be your number one fan um, throughout this lifetime, as well as you can be his. So to carefully consider with your choices who you impact and take with you, because that happens that way, as you may already know, but to a greater degree than you may be expecting. She's saying with that, I will let you go have lunch. But I'm just double checking that she has anything else. Okay, she's saying for now she's complete. Oh my goodness, Sybil, this was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Love higher selves. Okay. All right. She wants me to send this off to you today. She thinks it will make you feel a bit hopeful. I hope it does. I really hope it does. Okay, Scott, we'll talk soon.